Well, it was meant for Adam Jones, but it's Sean van Rensburg who's got through in it for the Dragons. Rodri Jones, Craig Warlow goes for the drop goal. TNB never get off the ground. John Davis on the far side with plenty of experience. Two youngsters alongside him in that Llanelli Scarlets front row, which is being wheeled at the moment. Scott Quinnell to the rescue. But the supporting players, Ian Bouvier got a hand in on it. Brett Davey starts for the Gwent Dragons, where he left off for Pontypridd, and he gets their first points of the season. Van Rensburg back towards his forwards for help, which duly arrives, and Brett Davey puts it safely out of play.
It's not acceptable.
Not acceptable, says Mr. McDowell. Handbags, really. But it's given Gareth Bowen the opportunity to show what not what you want to do with a clearance kick. Give Celesi Finau the chance to run back at you. He is a real handful. Brought down to earth with a crash though. A double tackle of Andy Marinos and Steve Wynn, and the crowd don't like it. And Celesi Finau, who's given out a few in his time, is now on the receiving end. And Steve Wynn has 10 minutes in the bin. Now let's have a look. Oh, there's the swinging arm. And down he goes. Tries to work his way over the top, John Davis, but they've lost it to Adam Black, and he's lost it in turn. Well, nobody can keep control of the football this afternoon, it seems. Phillips though to Lee Davis. Lee Davis, can the captain conjure something to Matthew Watkins? Will this first try ever arrive? Paul Young. Sean van Rensburg, to the delight of the Straddy crowd, can't hold it. Good platform, but he can't use it. Free kick quickly taken by Mike Phillips. To Scott Quinnell, Marinos can't hold him. And if somebody had to break the deadlock, that somebody just had to be Scott Quinnell. Again, line out going against the throw. Jason Forster. Oh, that's a great run from Forster. Richard Rees closing in down. Looks for support, and it comes from Luke Charteris. Good tackle by Gareth Bowen. Shortest man on the biggest man. Has that been kept in field by the Dragons? Try line's close. No, it's just popped out. Great run by Forster, though. It's a little sneaky one to the front to Ian Goff. And here comes the drive. That's Jason Forster just latching onto the back. It's wheeled round over the try line, and the try has been given. Keep an eye out on number 7. There he is now in the scrum cap, dragged across, and it's Jason Forster who gets the try. He deserves it. Van Rensburg with a pickup. That's a great run as well. Van Rensburg one to beat. Barry Davis brings him down. Lovely ball from Rodri Jones. Try must be scored surely. Oh no, they've messed it up again. Try was there for the begging. A golden opportunity thrown away by the Gwent Dragons. Gareth Bowen behind his own try line and clearing. What a chance that was.
Centre line.
Take by Chris Wyatt. The drive on by the Scarlets forwards, and a second try for Scott Quinnell. Rensburg to Rodri Jones, Lee Jarvis. Oh dear me, that is dreadful. Terrible play, and maybe Llanelli can get an unexpected third. Matthew Watkins caught 5 metres from the try line. It's on its way back, killed again though. Llanelli having to work hard for it. It's there, but one hand too many, knocks it on, and that's the tale of the afternoon.
Knock on, scrum down, black ball. Crouch and hold, engage. Stay behind, 6.
Van Rensburg controls, nice little flip to Rodri Jones. Andy Marinos, the captain. And the Dragons have to run out of defence. They won't try and get any bonus points. In the end, Lee Jarvis decides it's too far. Straight to Barry Davis. Barry Davis goes for the long drop goal. Oh, what a beauty! What a beauty! And one highlight, it must have been a dreadful game.
It's just one of those games, you know, their defence, they rushed up, and, you know, it's very, very difficult to play rugby. They said they were going to come with commitment and with passion, which they did.
I think both sides forgot about attacking rugby, and, you know, certainly from my perspective, I don't think we put one backline move together, and I know Llanelli didn't do either, so it doesn't bode well for a spectacle, but, you know, the result is there.
There's a World Cup coming up. Any regrets when you see everybody else going off at the end of the month?
I think I'm only in this form now because I'm not going. I think, you know, my head's nice and fresh and my body feels okay, so, you know, I can put that down to a good summer off, and, you know, Wayne Proctor just getting hold of me, you know, back in Stradi, and it's just, you know, just a delight to go out in the field and play.
So, first blood to the Scarlets. This morning we got the two coaches together back at Stradey Park for a Sunday morning cuppa and reflections on the big show's opening night.
That particular moment when it kicked off was always going to be an apprehension for everybody concerned, because it is the moment where the new way forward happens. But I never put a big expectation on it, to be honest with you. I think that we have to be far more realistic in looking maybe as a country about where we are. This moment isn't only the Celtic League and the start of the first Saturday, but I think it's far bigger than that. I think it's about probably sitting down as a nation and asking ourselves where we want to be in the next 4 years, the next 8 years.
I agree with Gareth. It's not just about this weekend. You know, it's quite exciting, all, you know, the level of intensity in the fixtures we have, but it's about the next few years as well, and developing the game in our regions and bringing the youngsters through. And already the future of the game is mobilised and up and running.
It's about marketing as well. I think there's a lot of responsibility on us as coaches and the players themselves to develop a game that people are attracted to.
There's only so much money that's around really in the guys' pockets who are watching rugby, and I don't think we can compete against each other. What we have to do is work with each other. We can't suddenly create new monies. I don't think it's there. We've got to work with the clubs in our region to try and create a season ticket package that allows everyone to have the option to watch their club and the region.
What excited me and has excited me this last 3 months is the fact, for the first time, Welsh rugby, in its new regional identity, has had a back room. Up until now, I've been the only full-time coach here at the club. Nigel was part-time in last year. Wayne was player coaching last year. Now this year, since we initiated the regional concept, we appointed a backroom staff. It's been actually fantastic to think that we've got 7 or 8 people now behind the scenes, giving the type of support that Scotland have been giving to their provinces and Ireland have been giving to their provinces for the last 5 years. Now, it's going to take time to bed down. It's going to take time, really, for us as professionals to manage that responsibility, and for the players themselves to actually develop the ability to be exposed far longer through the working week to far more needs. But I do feel now, for the first time, that Welsh rugby has got an equal playing base, really, to work from and to work off. And I think it'll be sort of, in the next 6 months, you'll see a big difference. But I think in the next years, you'll see Welsh rugby's ability coming through, I've got no doubt.
Is it true that yesterday's referee was on your backroom staff as well?
Ed, Mike wasn't happy with the referee last night. It was a poor game. Was it solely the responsibility of the referee, or was there more to it than that?
Oh, I think it's far too early in the season to start going ref bashing. I've looked at the game again, and there were a lot of errors committed. I think it is the danger still of Welsh derbies still have that tribal element, and killing the ball is more important than opening up the game. Compare that with the Ospreys opening game against the Irish province, full of quick release ball, full of running. It's such a difference. We've got to get out of the Welsh mindset of killing the game.
Talking of tribal element and killing people, Celesi Finau was chopped down on the wing there.
Yeah,
what do you make of that?
He had a bit of a short arm off Stephen Wynne. It's how ironic, isn't it, that we've seen Celesi hit a few, and I have to say it didn't look that dangerous, but from that angle, it's a very good hit, and the referee did well to see it because it is disguised from behind. Maybe a bit of retribution there that Steve Wynn's on the other end of that, but you know, thankfully Celesi's okay, and I'm sure he'll come back and knock a few out himself.
You wouldn't want to be Steve Wynn in the return, would you?
No, it'd be very interesting to see how that goes, actually. But no, it was interesting. But as Eddie said, I just think that we need to open up the game and leave the players have the possession and have confidence in our defence, because
we can do it. We can do it. The Ospreys had that opportunity at their very first line-out on Friday night. The line-out is very complicated, but they took the risk. They threw it long. They opened up the hole. Paul James goes steaming into it, and from the very first line-out, the Ospreys are flying. Compare that with the Newport Dragons yesterday, and it was a long, hard afternoon for sides struggling to get their little bits and pieces together. Here they are, good attacking opportunity. Ian Goff wins the ball cleanly. Simple setup, they do it patiently, but somehow the ball just squirts loose. And Adam Black comes in, and here you see his support runners are still 10 yards away. So it really is a player on his own, struggling. You know, it just takes time to bed everything down. Now then, if you want a dancing choreography, here we go. Newport go forward, go back. Peter Sidoli can't shake off Chris White, gives him a shove. The ref is looking straight at the touchline, so they get away with that. But then the release is into the ground. So it does take time. You've got to be patient. Now, what to do when you're defending a 5-metre line-out? Do you challenge for the ball, or do you just prepare yourself for the drive? Llanelli opt to drive, but Ian Goff doesn't even have to get off the ground. This is good driving play by the Gwent Dragons. They spin it towards the touchline, and then Sean van Rensburg hauls the play back in field against a sort of one-man Llanelli defence in Scott Quinnell, and even mighty Scott can't stop that.
OK, the emails and texts have been pouring in. The man who's been making sense of them is Rick O'Shea.
Thank you, Graham. Well, broadly speaking, the onset of regional rugby seems to have been uplifting. Steve Long was delighted with the Warriors' opening victory. Well done, lads. It's a great result. And despite the off-the-field politics and manoeuvring and the plans to play all the games at Bridgend, the Ospreys have even earned some admiration from Ulster, where Ballpark wrote to express, one, his surprise at Henson's non-selection for Wales, and also warned the new region with this volley. Scott Gibbs' assertion that the Ospreys were the only team playing rugby and should have won by 40 points will come back to haunt him at Ravenhill. Clive G was encouraged. 2 really good results for the Ospreys and the Warriors, but he's a little worried that the Blues were revisiting past mistakes, whilst the Scarlets and the Dragons were a throwback to last season, in his opinion. This leads us nicely into Webb Wiz, who was bitterly disappointed, not so much in the teams, but more the coaches at Straddy. I had hoped, he says, that 2 of the leading contenders for the national job would have served up some more positive play. He went on to make the point that the Gwent faithful chose to support Newport rather than the Dragons, implying that all the fans may choose to be loyal to their Grands as opposed to their team. Perhaps the regional matches could mirror the Premier League fixtures, with club sides playing before the regions. Based on last night's game, I'm not sure it'd be fair to subject the public to 2 matches in one day. Now, we did mention dinosaurs earlier on. Now, get a load of this. Speaking in defence of Cardiff as a standalone, Dave Hampton launched this astonishing tirade, and I quote, "I would prefer to watch a losing Cardiff team than any winning side embracing Pontypridd and Bridgend. To the point that merging is for the greater good of the national game, he adds, I would rather watch Wales lose, and I feel exactly the same about Cardiff. Well, Dave, you could be on the threshold of a very satisfying season there down at Jurassic Park. I mean, the Arms Park. They're still out there, boys.
They are still out there. What do you make of those kind of attitudes?
You've got to
diehards.
move on, you've got to move on. But you can still support, say, Newport and give a shout for the Gwent Dragons, or the Newport Gwent Dragons. It is still possible. I think the ground share is a good idea. Curtain raiser, Welsh Premier League, and then the big event of the afternoon would be the regional side.
Because if you were a Newport fan yesterday, Jonathan, you had to make a choice. Do you go and watch Newport, or do you go 60 miles away and go and watch the Gwent Dragons?
It would make sense.
You couldn't do both.
I think in Australia, they got better conditions than us, but they play the under-21s at 12 o'clock, then they play the reserve side at 1:30, and then the main event at 3 o'clock. So, hopefully we can do that. Some of the grounds have got, like an adjoining training field. You could play one of the games there, then you just nip over the walls or through the turnstiles and watch the regional sides play. But yeah, there's still a few sad people out there with with sad views. But we've all got to just embrace it now and go ahead with it. And hopefully, like the two coaches said, Llanelli and the Gwent Dragons, that in a couple of years' time, we'll see how successful it's has been with all the youngsters coming through.
OK, it's been a good